All right, welcome back, Raider Nation. This is Raider Sparks coming at you with another episode on the Raider roster report. We kicked off the combine today. Quarterbacks, tight ends, and receivers went, and so it was definitely a busy day for us. And hey, thanks for everybody that's been subscribing. Please keep sharing the video, getting the word out, and hit the bell notification if you can. You get all the updates, all the new episodes I put out. Please. Hit the like button and make comments. More importantly, it really helps. Definitely love hearing what Raider Nation has to think, especially about the wide receivers today. They put on a pretty good show, I thought. So a lot of different receivers. I won't go through all of them, but quite a few of them. I think there was definitely some winners and losers and some surprises. Some guys that made my list that weren't on there before. So if you haven't checked it out already, the draft profile series I did, before the combine, basically with their regular seasons and their all-star games, that kind of thing. I kind of broke down some different receivers, some receivers I thought would be great fits for the Raiders. So check that video out. But now we can add more to it now that we have the combine for these guys. Before we get into the receivers, though, just wanted to make a quick mention. Obviously, I'm going to get into the quarterbacks, but the tight ends. If you haven't checked out my episode on that and the tight ends that we could possibly get late in the draft, I think tight end is a more important position than people think for us, just because Foster's on his last year of his contract, and he's supposed to be an all-around type tight end. And passing, he started off really good on touchdowns, but kind of slowed down a little bit, had the injury. But his blocking actually is a little bit suspect lately, especially in the last championship game or the last playoff game we had. Obviously, wasn't the best. So maybe we need to kind of address that a little bit. And then obviously with Waller's situation, 2 years left on his deal, but the reports are he's not happy with the amount he's making. So do we want to pay him more? He's going to turn 30. He'll be 31 at the end of his contract. That type of thing. And if there's any riff or any truth to the rumors about him and Carr having a riff, that maybe not. My point is this draft is loaded with tight end talent. All kinds of different types of tight ends, pass catching tight ends, inline blocking tight ends, and all around tight ends. And really, you can go as far as the fourth or fifth round even and still get a starting quality tight end. And so I did highlight some guys that would be later round tight ends that I thought would be good fits. And I'm happy to say that this combine, a couple of these guys kind of stole the show, like Uaquanu out of Maryland. He was awesome today, and he was my number one target for late round tight ends, and he did great. Jelani Woods was my number 1A, 1B target. He kicked ass today. He like 24 reps on the bench press as well, showed off his strength, showed off his speed, and just tremendous. Some other guys, Daniel Bellinger as a blocker, he did really good out of San Diego State, showed he could catch as well. Austin Allen did a nice job, so a lot of the guys that I highlighted. If you haven't checked out that episode, please go check it out. But now let's get right into it. So Raider Nation, we should all be celebrating right now because this man, Treylon Burks, he ran a 4.55, unofficial 4.5, and that's just fine with me because if people really want to judge him off his 40 time, by all means, great. If he's there at 22, we are taking him, unless a couple other guys that are there, but other than that, he is the wide receiver one still for me, and the reason is because he's a true X receiver. And if you look at it, if you look at how the NFL values these players, the top five wide receivers on the free agent market, three of them are X receivers. So you're looking at paying an X anywhere from $15 million Allen Robinson range, all the way up to $25 to $30 million Devontae Adams range. And so the Z receiver that's in there is Godwin is $18 million. So you kind of see how the league values these players. And so what I wanted to do tonight was just kind of look at different players to kind of identify the player themselves, see if I know exactly who they are. So Treylon Burks, 6'2", 225. Well, Allen Robinson is 6'2", 220. So it gives me an idea of size comparison. 33.5-inch arms, 9.78 hands. T. Higgins, 34-inch arms, 9.25 hands. Let's see here. Deebo Samuel, 10-inch hands. So kind of gives you a feel for Treylon Burks, Allen Robinson, T. Higgins' length, the size, the grip strength of Deebo Samuel. 40 time, 4.55. Now, I just want a side note real quick. So 2 years ago, we had a huge debate on which receiver we should take first. Should we take CeeDee Lamb or Henry Ruggs? Well, CeeDee Lamb is an ex receiver. He ran a 4.51. Traylon Burks say ran a 4.55 official, 4.50 unofficial time. And obviously we took Ruggs, the 4.29 or 4.26 guy, whatever he ran, and most of Raider Nations was just up in arms about it. Like, oh my God, how did we do that over CeeDee Lamb? And now all I heard today on YouTube, all the channels was, oh, Chris Olave's our guy because he ran fast. He ran a 4.29. Well, he didn't. He ran a 4.39. But the point is, it's like 2 years ago we were all over the X receiver running the 4.5 in the 4.5s. Traylon Burks runs in the 4.5s, and all of a sudden we're like, we want the fast guy now. So it's really odd the way Raider Nation kind of switched gears on that one. Thought it was somewhat strange, but anyways. So who's Traylon Burks though? 4.55 40. Davante Adams 4.56 40. He's the number one free agent target on the market according to PFF, and the number one receiver. Allen Robinson, who's around 4.60. A lot of people compare or Allen Robinson, Allen 4.60, and a lot of people compare Traylon Burks to AJ Brown, who's a 4.49 guy. He was number 14 on PFF's receiver board last year, and then T. Higgins was number 8. He ran a 4.59. So you know what? I know exactly who Traylon Burks is. He fits in exactly to his profile. He runs exactly how he should. His vert is 33. T. Higgins is 31. AJ Brown's 36.5. A little under what I would want because Davante Adams is like 39. So if you're going to compare him to Davante Adams, maybe not so much. The broad jump, he was 12.2 though, and this is interesting because Davante Adams is 12.3 on the broad jump. AJ Brown's 12, and Debo's 12.2. So he fits the profile exactly as he was supposed to fit. The only concern I have for him is the 3-cone, and he didn't do the short shuttle, so that's a little concerning to me. So I do want to see a little bit more agility. Hopefully he has a pro day so we can clean it up a little bit. But his 3-cone was 7.28. Debo was 7.03. Like Davante Adams, if you're looking at Davante Adams 3-cone, it's way better than that. It's Davante is let's see, a 6.82 and a 4.3 20. So I want to see more agility drills from Traylon Burks. So we still probably have a pro day to maybe clean some of that up. So hopefully we get there. So another guy I've got on my incomplete list, let's put it that way, is Garrett Wilson. So Garrett Wilson, again, we're trying to figure out who these players are. And so I'm sorry, just get to him here real quick to do a comparison on where he's at. Let's see here. Let's see, Garrett Wilson. Where did I put him at? Let's see, 1 second. So Garrett Wilson, I mean, he had a good pro day overall or a combine, but he didn't do the agility drills, which is always a concern. And let's see here, Garrett Wilson. Here, so sorry about that. So 6 foot 183. So right off the bat, all of PFF's top 5 receivers are all over 200 pounds. So that's somewhat concerning. These guys are coming in a little lighter than probably what's best for them. Davante Adams is 212. Cooper Kupp's 204. Debo's 214. Justin Jefferson is 202. And Jamar Chase is 201. So coming in a little light, I think. 32-inch arms, 9.78 hands. Allen Robinson, 32-inch arms and 9.5-inch hands. So he kind of has the length and hand strength of that of an X receiver. The 40 time 4.38, which is really good. Jamar was 4.34 and Jefferson 4.43. So he has the speed of a Z or faster X type receiver. Vertical is 36. That's more like AJ Brown. So he doesn't have quite the explosion. And the 4.36, Devontae was a 4.30. So not bad. His agility is, or his broad jump 12.3. And again, that's Devontae. So he has that going for him. He just doesn't have quite the explosion. with the vertical, but he's got the broad jump and he's got the 20. I would have liked to seen the 3-cone drill. I think that would have really helped with the evaluation. So hopefully, again, he gets that at the combine, because I want to see if he's Jamar Chase. Basically, I mean, Jamar Chase um, is the case study for me for him, because 4.34 40, and he ran a 4.38, so he's comparable there. But Jamar Chase, 41-inch vert, 13.2 broad jump, 6.96 3-cone, and a 3.99 20. His 20 was 4.36, so not quite the agility. So he's tracking more as a bigger X receiver, but he's a small X or a Z receiver. So I'm not sure what we're getting here with him. That's the problem. And so it's kind of hard to gauge. So hopefully we get a little bit more info on that. And that's why I just have Treylon Burks ahead, because I know exactly what I'm getting. I know what the market says for big X receivers. And the market's very expensive for those players. And I know how he profiles. Garrett Wilson profiles as a smaller X like Jamar Chase or a Z type receiver, but he has the explosion a uh, um, of a big X. So it's not quite matching up quite the way I think it should. Chris Olave, again, a little bit similar to that, I guess. On the evaluation as Garrett Wilson, 6 foot 187. So Jamar 6 foot 201. So again, lighter, 31 and eighth arms, 9.5 hands. Debo 31 and 3/8 and 10-inch hands. So Olave's got the length, or has good length, but so does Wilson. They both show good length, which to me makes them probably X receivers. They could definitely play the X, so that's good. It's what we need. Olave is 40 times 4.39, so Wilson had him on that as well. Jamar 4.34, Jefferson 4.43, so kind of in that range. But here's the problem with Olave: the explosion is 32. That's like Cooper Cup range, which isn't bad, but you need to see the agility with it. So, and he didn't do the 3-cone or the 20, so we don't have that data. The broad jump is 12.4, so that's good. That's solid. That's a Devontae Adams style 12.3, which is X receiver. Jefferson 12.6, kind of in that range. Debo's 12.2, so you kind of get a feel for that athleticism. But we need to see the 3-cone and the 20. Hopefully, he has a pro day, both these guys, to show it off. I'm glad to see Garrett Wilson did the 20, but it was more in line with a big X receiver. So that's kind of where those guys are at for me. It wasn't quite. Uh, Unfortunately, they didn't do all of the drills, so we couldn't get a complete evaluation on them. So I'm still kind of waiting on more on those guys. Um, Johan Dodson, I thought it was a little bit underwhelming. Is kind of how I'd put it. A little bit on the disappointing side. 5'11", 178. So, below that 6 foot. So Debo was the only one at 5'11" on the top 5 PFF receiver list. So everybody else was at least 6 foot. So that's a little tough, because John's looking at a first or second round pick, but then you look at the length: 30-inch arms, 30 and 3/4, and 9.5-inch hands. Well, that's Jamar Chase, 30 and 3/4 to the T and 9.58. So about the same length as Jamar. So to me, he's kind of profiling that Jamar is an inch shorter, but a little over 20 pounds lighter. But the problem is, you get to the 40 at 4.43. Jamar Chase is a 4.34 40. Justin Jefferson's a 4.43, but he's bigger. The vert is like A.J. Brown, 36-inch vertical. The 3-cone, 7 and 2/8. Debo's 7 and a third. So he's not profiling as a Jamar Chase kind of type receiver. So kind of confusing on his profile. He profiles more like a bigger receiver, like a Debo, but not even that fast on the 3-cone. And the 40 is a 4.43, so he's getting closer to that sort of bigger type receiver role, but he doesn't have that. That's not his style. So to me, this is just an underwhelming performance for him. I would have at least expected in the 4.3s at his size and then the three cone drill to be much better, to be sort of that Jamar Chase esque type receiver, especially if I'm picking him in the third or in the first or second round. That's crazy. So Christian Watson, one of my biggest winners of the day. Um, we start to figure out a little bit more who he is. 6'4", 208. Well, T. Higgins is 6'4", 216. Devontae's 212. So kind of in that range. He's taller than Devontae. 32.5-inch arms, 10 and 8 hands. Devontae's 32 5/8 length, so about the same length. And Debo's 10-inch hands. And he's got bigger hands than Debo. So again, profiling really well. He's got length. He's got the weight. He's got the hand size. 44, 4, 3. The 40 is 4, 3, 3, 6. 4.36 40. Jamar 4.34. So he's got the speed of Jamar. Vertical 38.5. Debo's 39. Jefferson's 37.5. Jamar's 41. So broad jump 13.6. Jamar's 13.2. So Christian Watson has the explosion, and so right now I've got Treylon Burks and Christian Watson is my top two receivers, just because I have a little bit more data. I'd like to see Christian Watson do some more of the agility drills, except you know what? I kind of know the type of receiver. He's shown his explosion. He's shown the 40 time. He's got the length and the better size. So right now I got him a little ahead. I still would like to see the agility drills, but I mean. And if you look at their careers, they all have the good careers. They all had, and again, Christian Watson's got the Senior Bowl to back him up too of what he did. So definitely a big time riser. I mean, he could pass some of these guys because we're starting to find out a little bit more about who the player is and how he profiles. I think he had a great day today. I think he made some money today. George Pickens is another guy in my receiver series who I graded very high. I had him as a second rounder, possibly talking about late first round kind of deal, but definitely a second round pick. He's a little diva-ish to me. I've seen some film on him that I didn't like as much on the contested ball stuff. I thought a couple of them he let get picked off when he shouldn't have. So it's a little bit there, but something to watch out for. But his profile is good. 6'3", 195. He's a little light. Again, everybody else in the top 10 or top 5 is over 200 pounds, so but not far off. T. Higgins 6'4", 216. Jefferson 6'1", 202. So he's sort of in that height range. I definitely like the height with him. 32 and 3/8 arms, 8 and 3/4 hands. So Devontae Adams is 32 and 5/8 length. So he's got good length and 9-inch hands for Devontae. So not bad. Not a deal breaker. Speed wise, he ran a 4.47 40. AJ Brown 4.49. So he's faster than those top X type receivers. Devontae's a 4.56 guy, and Allen Robinson's a 4.60 guy. So he's got the speed, he's got the length. The vertical 33. T. Higgins is 31. Cooper Kupp's 31. Brown's 36.5. So he didn't quite have the explosion. So again with Treylon Burks, same thing, same as Treylon Burks. So maybe their pro day they clean it up a little bit. Broad jump 12.5, which is good. Devontae 12.3, so that's really good. Debo 12.2 and Brown 12. So I'd like to see some agility drills out of him, except I kind of know who he is. He's definitely an X receiver. I don't have to look too far. Look at his film. Look what he does. So he's right there for me as well. Treylon Burks, Christian Watson, and George Pickens are three guys that I really are really kind of excited about for the Raiders because I'm hoping they get the more Jamar Chase-esque or the faster guy um, in free agency. I think it's a little easier to get that profile than it is the true X receivers. But Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson can be X receivers. I just want to see a little bit more from them because they don't have the true size. So Jamar Chase kind of set the bar as an X receiver. CeeDee Lamb as well. Maybe not the quite size, but they had everything else. They have the three cone and the agility drills. And CeeDee Lamb's a 4.5 guy, and he's able to do it. So just something to think about, kind of where I'm talking with these guys. Probably the biggest winner of all is Kevin Austin. I didn't even have this guy on my radar. Like I had to look, who the heck is this guy? He's an X receiver. He plays on the outside for Notre Dame. And my gosh, um, he had a great showing today. He definitely made some money. 6'2", 200 pounds. He had 48 receptions, 880 yards, 18 and a half average, and 7 touchdowns. He played on the outside again, like Cooper Kupp size, Cooper Kupp 6'2", 204, so about that size. 32 and 7/8 length, 9-inch hands. Devontae is very close, almost the same as Devontae. 4.4340. Justin Jefferson's a 4.4340. So now we're talking X receivers. This is the fastest X receiver outside of I guess Christian Watson. He can play Z or X, I guess. So he's in that 4.43 range, which is very good. Vert 39. Devontae is 39 and a half. So we're definitely talking profiling like that. Broad jump 13-2. Jamar Chase 13-2. So that is outstanding. He's matching that. Devontae Adams is like what is Devontae Adams? His broad jump's 12-3. So I mean he's right there. He's at 13-2 broad jump. 3-cone drill 6.71. Cooper Kupp is 6.75. Everybody. So this guy has the size of Devontae Adams, the speed of Jamar Chase, the explosion of Jamar Chase, and the 3-cone drill better than Cooper Kupp. The 20-yard shuttle 4.15. Jamar Chase was 3.99, Kupp 4.08, Debo's 4.14. So he's right there athletically with all these guys. This guy made a ton of money today. I had no idea about this guy. I didn't even have him on my radar. I apologize for that. But I mean, he definitely made some money. So I'm going to go watch some more film on him, see what I can find out, because I really didn't study him at all. So I'm going to go check it out. And then another guy that I thought had a great day, made some money, was Alec Pierson. A great career at Cincinnati. The Senior Bowl didn't go well for him. Everybody was pegging him as a slot-only guy or a big slot. We found out a lot more about Alec Pierce today. He's 6'3", 211. So Devontae's 6'1", 212. Allen Robinson 6'2", 220. So he's taller than Devontae and basically the same as Devontae, like weight wise. So he's perfectly sized for an X. 33-inch arms, 9-inch hands. Justin Jefferson, 33-inch arms, 9 and 8 hands. So he's got this grip strength and the length of Justin Jefferson. The 4.41 40. Jefferson 4.43. So he's right there. Um, and again, if you're comparing him to Devontae, 4.56. Traylon Burks 4.55. I mean, he's got the speed. Obviously, we just went over Pickens 4.43, but this is vertical 40 and a half. So Devontae 39 and a half, Jamar 41. So he's right there with those guys as far as that goes. And broad jump 12.9. Jefferson was 12.6 and Jamar was 13.2. So he's right there as well. I would like to see the agility drills though, just to confirm what I'm seeing, but I'm not necessarily seeing a slot guy. I'm seeing an X receiver. And with that length, definitely somebody to keep an eye on, especially if he's in the third and we haven't got an X yet. Probably somebody we would want to probably draft at that point. So just keep an eye on Alec. Again, I'll watch a little more on him as well and see what we can find out. Isaiah Western out of University of Northern Iowa, and again, this is probably one of the biggest risers because outside of Kevin Austin, I've never heard of this guy either. And I was like, who is this dude? And he put on a show today at the combine and trying to figure out who he is. 6'3" and a half, 214. Perfect size. T. Higgins 6'4", 216. 32 and a half arms, 9.5-inch hands. AJ Brown, 32 7/8, 9 3/4. So he's got the length of AJ Brown. He's got the height of T. Higgins. 4.42. Justin Jefferson 4.43. Exactly what you want. Bench press too. He bench pressed 20. So he led the way with the receivers and bench press. Usually receivers don't even usually bench press. He did. He's super strong. Vertical 40. Jamar is 41 and Devontae is 39 and a half. Oh, athletically, this dude profile is awesome. And broad jump 13.5, Jamar 13.2. So he out broad jump. So athletically, this guy is a freak. He is on the radar now as an X. I don't know anything about his football ability. I haven't watched him, so I will go check it out and see what I can find. But if anybody knows anything about him or Kevin Austin too, let me know because I'm excited about these guys to see. I thought we had very few X receivers. It's turning out that we have a few more than I originally thought, so that's cool. And then you go to the kind of the slot gadget guys, however you want to call them. Calvin Austin was a huge winner, 5'8", 170. Hunter Renfro's 5'10", 184. Tyreek Hill 5'6", 185. So if I'm talking Tyreek Hill, you kind of get where I'm going with this. Length 30-inch arms, 9 1/4 hands. Renfro's 29 and 7'3", 7'8". So Hill is let's see here, 30 and a half. So he basically profiles the same as Hill in length, and then 8-inch hands basically, or 8-inch hands. So he's got bigger hands. So there you go. 40 times 4.32. Hill 4.29, so just off, but that was a pro day for Hill, not a combine. Hunter's 4.59, so he's way faster. He's more Hill range than Hunter range. Vertical 39. Hill was 40.5, and then Hunter's 35, so he's again right there with Tyreek Hill. Broad jump 13.5. Hunter's 11.6, so not even close. Tyreek Hill 12.9, so he outdid Tyreek Hill on the broad jump, so he's got the explosion. 20 short shuttle 4.07 for Calvin Austin. Tyreek Hill 4.06. He's right there with them. And then Hunter Renfro's 4.08 on that deal. So, anyways, so very very. Oh, actually, no, Cup. I'm sorry, is 4.08. Renfro's 4.19. So he's got the agility of Hill, Cup, and Renfro. He's got the speed of Hill. He's got the size of Hill. Actually, he's got 2 inches on him. He's a little light, but that's about it. Broad jump, he's better than Hill. He's right there on the vertical. This guy made some money today, guys. If we want a true playmaker, this is the quick Tyreek Hill guy that everybody's seeking. So athletically, and he did a great job at Memphis as well. So keep an eye on that. Another guy that made a lot of money today is Beau Melton. Really did a nice job at the combine. Did a great job at the Senior Bowl. Calvin Austin was awesome at the Senior Bowl too. So these guys are really underestimated, but they're really good. Beau Melton's out of Rutgers. I was trying to figure out who he was too. He's 5'11", 189. So Debo's 5'11". Just needs to add a little weight if he wants to kind of go that route. 31 1/4 arms, 9-inch hands. Debo's 31 3/8, 10-inch hands. Cup's 31 1/2, 9-inch hands. So he's right there with those guys. The 40 time 4.34 40. Jamar 4.34 40. Vertical 38. Jefferson 37 1/2, and Devontae 39. So he's right there with the best receivers. Broad jump 12.1. Debo 12.2. 3 cone 6.98 for him. Jamar 6.96. So he kind of profiles more on the outside. Everybody's talking about him as a slot receiver. He has a lot of the athleticism as an outside guy. He just doesn't quite have the height. But look what Debo Samuel does. Debo does everything, and so does Beau Melton. Beau Melton can line up in the backfield. Beau Melton can do a lot of these things. So if we want multifaceted guy, he's probably that guy. Actually, him and Calvin Austin. Calvin Austin, I think, is more slot, more gimmicky. Beau Melton can legit play out on the numbers, but he can also legit play in the slot and in the backfield. So, and his athletic profile shows it. His tape shows it. So, he's a very good receiver. Somebody that these are to me. If depending on free agency, who we get free agency, how we want to complement it. But Calvin Austin and Beau Melton would be great complements to if we bring in an X type receiver. Even though we have Renfro, I think in our system that we use, they both would be pretty effective in it. Another guy that somewhat underwhelming today that I kind of want to see more from was Skye Moore, 5'10", 195. So Debo-esque, just not as heavy. Hunter Renfro, 5'10", 184. So probably more Hunter's profile. 31-inch arms, 10 1/4 hands, so big hands. Jamar is 30 and 3/4 arms. Cup is 31.5. So right there with those guys. His 40 was Justin Jefferson type time, 4.41. Justin Jefferson is 4.43. So kind of in that range. His vertical 34.5. Cooper Kupp's 31. So sort of in that range. Broad jump 12.5. Cup 11.6. Jefferson 12.6. Three cone though is where he lost me at. 7.13. Well, Debo's 7.03. Renfro's 6.8. Cup 6.75. So, he profiled athletically the most, like size wise, everything else as a slot. He has the big hands to play slot. Like all of those things were good, but the three cone you have to be elite. You have to be sub 6 or sub 7, I mean, to be elite. And he's not that. The 24.32, Devontae's 4.3 and he's an X. Renfro's 4.19 and Cup 4.08. So little underwhelming. I thought he was going to be more in line with those guys. I'll look for his pro day, but I really was expecting a lot more from Skye Moore as far as the agility drill, especially the position he's going to be asked to play. Yeah, just didn't do it for me. Jalen Tolbert, let's see. He did okay. 6'1", 194, so he's light, right? 6'1" is Jefferson, 202, so it's kind of in that. He kind of reminds me of that a little bit. 32.25 arms, 10-inch hands. Devontae's 32 and 5/8, 9-inch hands. Debo's got 10-inch hands, so he's got the length and hand size. He's got the Jefferson kind of height. This is a little weight. The 40 time is 4.49, which is like A.J. Brown, Debo Samuel with 4.48. So he's kind of in that range of getting closer to the X position. Kind of in that range. Devontae, yeah, he's kind of in that smaller, but the smaller, lighter X. He doesn't have that true size that Devontae has and Robinson has, that type of thing. The speed wise is kind of right there with AJ Brown, but he doesn't have the size, the true X big receiving size as those other guys. So a little confusing on what his role really is. Vertical 36, AJ Brown 36. So he's profiling athletically more like a big X, but he's not. He's 6'1", 194. The height is fine. It's the weight is a problem. The strength, I'm not sure. The broad jump 12.3. AJ Brown's 12. Devontae's 12.3. And Debo's 12.2. Three cones 7.08. Debo's 7.03. So he doesn't have the quicks like Jamar. So he's undersized. He doesn't really have the agility as Jamar, but he doesn't have the size as Devontae. So he's sort of in between on the type of receiver that he's going to be. So it's going to be a tough one for me to kind of grade him out. So just kind of heads up on him. Velus Jones, I loved him out of the Senior Bowl. I thought he did great. For me, the combine is just kind of incomplete. Just because of the agility drills. I wanted to see him do the agility because he's 6 foot 204. Jamar's 6 foot 201. So I wanted to see if he compared to Jamar with the agility drills. Because if he does, 37/8 length, 9.75 hands is almost the same as Jamar. Speed wise, 4.31, 40. Jamar 4.34. Vertical though, he doesn't have the explosion. The vert's 33, Cup 31, Higgins 31. So that's where I was like, I need to see the agility if I'm going to put him into this realm. I think that's why he's profiling more in the later rounds and not the upper rounds, because a lot of the other things are Jamar Chase like. It's just the explosion on the vert, but he has a broad jump 12.1. Debo's 12.2, AJ Brown's 12 foot. So and he's 204. So it's not bad. I want to see the agility I want to see the 3 cone and the 20 shuttle to make a final evaluation on him. Because I think he showed me a lot at the Senior Bowl. A lot of people say he's dropping the ball. I didn't see that as much. I saw that Danny Gray, he dropped the ball a lot. Jalen Tolbert dropped the ball. But I didn't necessarily see that with Velus Jones. In fact, Velus Jones was pretty much open whenever he wanted to be open. So I have him graded a lot higher. I think a lot of other people do, but I want to see the agility first. Wandel Robinson, again, he's supposed to be the kind of gadget, kind of Calvin Austin-esque type guy. A lot of people hype up Wandel Robinson. I think it was a bit of a miss for me today, actually. 5'8", 178, but he only has 27-inch arms. I mean, I understand side, late 9-inch hands, just didn't have it. He had a 4.44 Jefferson 4.43. So as like kind of a bigger receiver 40, his vert was only 34.5. So T Higgins 31, Coop 31, or Cup 31, broad jump 11.8, Cup 11.6. So he didn't do the agility drills. So very underwhelming. Wandel Robinson to me was kind of on the, I guess, the kind of the down list. The down list, the loser list, if you want to call it that, is David Bell. And I think Wandel Robinson lost money today. Um, Another guy that was a little down for me, too, is Cair Shakir out of Boise State. Supposed to be a slot only guy, 6', 196. Jamar, 6', 9.5 inch or 9.5 inch hands was fine. 29 length is a little shorter. That's like Renfro, right? Slot guy. So he's kind of profiling slot. 4.43, Jefferson 4.43. It's slots. That's okay. Broad jump 12.4, Jefferson 12.6. 3-cone though 7.28. You got to be sub 7 if you're going to be a slot guy, and that was a knock on him. You can't get open at the Senior Bowl, and well, that's why the 20 shuttle 4.21 again, way too high, way too high. So I thought he lost money today. Kyle Phillips, I wanted to see him. He's incomplete. I'm waiting for his pro day. Just didn't see enough from him. Kind of need to see a little bit more from Kyle Phillips. 5'11", 189. I mean, he profiles exactly like Hunter Renfro. 4.58 40, which is fine. I mean, that's a slot guy. Vert only 33.5. Broad jump 12.4. All of those actually are fine for the slot like Renfro-esque, but we need to see the agility drills, the 3-cone and the 20 shuttle to make an evaluation on Kyle Phillips here. And then Danny Gray, again, kind of incomplete. He has the straight line speed, but not as much else. I mean, um, yeah. So we just need to see more from Danny Gray to kind of give a better evaluation. He's 6', 186. 31 length, which is Debo. The height is like Jamar. 4.33 speed, Jamar 4.34. Vert only 34, so he doesn't have quite the explosion. So if he's going to be a slot guy, that's fine. 12.6 broad jump, which is Justin Jefferson, but we need to see the agility on him. And honestly, the hands at the Senior Bowl were awful. I mean, he was open a lot because of the speed, but just couldn't catch the ball. So I'm not as high on him as a lot of other people. So, yeah, I thought, David Bell definitely is off the list. He had a terrible day today. Johan Dodson, I thought, was underwhelming. Some guys that made money, Kevin Austin, Isaiah Weston, Christian Watson, Alec Pierce, Beau Melton, Calvin Austin. Um, you know, Traylon Burks solidified it for me. That should be the number one target for the Raiders, no question. Garrett Wilson and Olave, I think they profile more as X receivers now that I see them a little bit more. But I need to see the agility drills a little bit because they're more Jamar Chase esque than Devontae Adams. Traylon Burks is more Devontae Adams and Allen Robinson type with Debo thrown in there. Johan Dodson is more Debo but doesn't have quite the tools. I mean, he was a little underwhelming today. He might be more Jamar Chase too. We need to see more from him. I'm looking forward to his pro day. He doesn't do it for me. Christian Watson, we do need to see the agility, but overall we saw the speed. Everything else checks the box for a true X. Definitely a playmaker. George Pickens, same thing. We'd love to see the agility drills, but we know who these guys are. We know exactly who Christian Watson, Traylon Burks, and George Pickens are. They're bigger type X type receivers. But we need to see if Chris Olave and and Johan Dodson or Jamar Chase or who they are. Kevin Austin, it was a great surprise. He's profiling like a Devontae Adams type, a bigger X, or Jamar Chase even. He's kind of in that kind of mix right there of both, which is impressive. Alec Pierce is no longer just a slot receiver. He's profiling as a bigger X type receiver. Isaiah Weston, same thing. We got to do more homework on him. Calvin Austin is a gadget guy. I mean, just a playmaker. He made money today. Beau Melton made money today. Skye Moore lost money today, in my opinion. Jalen Tolbert's confusing. I'm not sure what he actually is. He's probably a Z receiver. I should have probably did Chris Godwin. He probably profiles more like him. Velus Jones, maybe even the same thing, but Velus Jones has a little Jamar Chase to him. We just got to see the agility drills. Wandel Robinson, I think, lost money today. We need to see the agility drills from him, but I wasn't as impressed. Cair Shakir lost money today. His profile just doesn't match a slot, and that's pretty much what he is. Kyle Phillips is incomplete. Danny Gray struggles catching, and we need to see agility from here. So that's all I got tonight on the receivers. Sorry it was so long, but there's a lot to go over, a lot to like. Raider fans should be excited about this receiving class. Please let me know your thoughts, opinions, share, comment, subscribe, all those good things. Let me know who your guy was today, if there are any surprises, who are your winners and losers. And yeah, definitely looking forward to tomorrow's combine. I know that we'll get a few more tidbits out of the draft tomorrow. We'll start building our draft. We'll have a good idea of who I want to pick up as free agents, so it kind of leads me to the draft, and then vice versa. We can switch it around. Like now we know a little bit more about the receivers. We can change the free agent targets if we have to. So yeah, that's all I got tonight, everybody. Thanks for joining. This is Raider Sparks. Talk to you later.